Derby County have been docked 12 points for the start of this coming season after entering administration. Is this the end for one of the founding members of the Football League? One of only 10 clubs who have played every single season. That is now under threat. News just in, Derby County could be hit with a further 9-point deduction for breaching EFL rules unless they can come up with a new way of funding the club. In what appears to be an act of desperation by Derby County, a new manager has been installed. Wayne Rooney has left Derby County. An unknown manager, Herb the Nerd, has been brought in. As we've been scrabbling to find any information on Herb, it looks like he had a semi-successful period at the MK Dons, where he did install, it says here, a Moneyball approach. It looks like with EFL approval, the 9-point deduction will be held if Herb the Nerd is installed, and the club can install this Moneyball approach to turn its finances around. So, looks like Derby County is now in the hands of Herb. Hiya! And we are back. An actual Moneyball playthrough for you guys on YouTube. So this is our Twitch save with Derby County, employing our Moneyball approach that was created last year with the MK Dons, and seeing if we can save the club that has been hit with administration in the start of the season, hit with a points deduction. We held off the 9 points. We started before that went in. Thank God we did. And just to see how we can employ all those technical approaches that we had in the Moneyball series. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a card at the top there to take you through how we set up a Moneyball approach. And this is the live playthrough of that with Derby County. So let's talk about the basics with Derby. We know Derby, one of the 10 founding clubs of the Football League. Massive club, should be back in the Premier League. Got close the last couple of seasons. Mismanagement by their old director means they were hit with administration. And in game, that means you can't do anything. Nada. As I struggled to realise, you can't even try and sell players. You just have to sit and wait. So what we will be doing is using their aged squad that they've got a lot of old players in there, trying to work out who we want to sell when we can sell, see if the administrators step in and sell any facilities or players, and then we're kind of waiting for us to get out of administration before we can start implementing any of the Moneyball approach. So it's really going to be starting off to just try and get some damn points on the table and get rid of that minus points deduction. Rooney's done a very good job, IRL. We're going to try and replicate. Let's start, however, with the Moneyball rule set, the philosophy in which we are going to be running this save, running this club to hopefully fix their financial problems and get them back into the Premier League with a strong squad where we are making money from players. Bit like the Brentford approach, it is an overall philosophy rather than a rule set before we get into it. So there will be some areas that we sit to work between. There'll be some goals we are aiming towards, but it is not a tick sheet of rules. Again, go and check out the video set if you want to go through. But very quickly, what we'll be looking at is net wage spend as our kind of number one metric. We want to keep that net wage spend to a minimum. We want to be giving people inflated contracts. As part of that net wage spend, what we'll be doing is implementing performance-based pay. So trying to bring your wage down, but actually up goal bonuses, up assist bonuses, clean sheet bonuses, performance for getting in team of the year. So essentially, you play well, you do your job, you get more money. And that means overall, we're only paying if we're winning, which is a good thing because then we're likely to go up, continue the success. We're only going to sign players that have a resale value. So we're looking for players kind of 27 and under, but players that are ready to play in the first team, where you should always be looking to improve our first team, and every player has a value. So therefore, the reason we want that resale value is if we bring someone in, we retrain them, we get them in good form. If a bid comes in and it's worth the money, we should be selling those players, regardless of whether they are top goal scorer and performing well or not. If that valuation is met, we're here to make sure we've got money to reinvest in the next set of players we're going to buy. And that means that signing first team player approach means we will normally strip out the under 23s and under 18s, minimise that wage cost across the board, that staff as well as players. Because Derby have a very good youth setup, we're going to try the latter stage Moneyball approach that Brentford have now, where they have their first team squad and they have that B team squad where they mix some of the first team players and actually do have some very, very high rated youth players in there. So that's how we're going to be looking to kind of save the finances. Of course, administration has to be passed first. We need a new owner. So we're going to have to work with the current squad. So let's have a look at this then. The team report best 11, just as an idea, and you can see that it's going to be a tough old season. It's an old team. It's going to be a slow formation we've got here. You've got Forsyth, Stearman, Jagielka, and Byrne as your back four. I think Stearman and Jagielka are both like 33, 34, right? So rather old. Forsyth, I think, is 30, 31, and Byrne probably late 20s. So that back line, very, very slow. And even if you look at the attacking side, Lawrence is their star man, their captain. So we see if we can get the most out of him. You've got Colin Kazim Richards as your best striker, and I believe behind him, Sam Baldock. So there are some definite areas where there's some age in there. There's some players that we're going to need to try and get rid of for some money or just to save wages early on. But obviously we're going to need to get the most out of them and find something that works for these players to get us through to the administration ending, which could be before the start of the season or could be much later on if I'm unlucky. And then if we have a look at the wages of some of those players, so this is the area we're going to want to concentrate on. It's like a wide range in a quite small squad, actually, ranging from the top earner of Tom Lawrence up there at 30,000 per week, down to players that are probably going to be knocking around the first team in terms of Jack Stretton, Feisty Ebelusi, and even Phil Jagielka's on that about 4,500 a week. So quite a large range, and you can see the ages there as well. It's quite an old squad. Marshall's 36. Goalkeeper, you can let that go. Forsyth, 32, our first choice left back. Baldock, 32. Davis, 36. Stearman, 33. Phil Jagielka, 38. Our defence. It's not going to be a fun one. It's not going to be a fun one, but hopefully, we'll get for administration, and let's just see what the board wants us to achieve in at least this first season before we can start kicking in our approach. So the club vision and 5-year ongoing plan, as stated out by the administrator for us there, and that administrator's got pretty sick set of mutton chops with a tash there, is to work within the wage budget, to keep the wage budget there, obviously, develop players using the club's youth system. Obviously, we mentioned before, the club has a good youth system, so we will be taking that dual approach on Moneyball to get first-team players, but also try and pick up like the creme de la creme of the youth players as our backups. And we're to fight bravely against relegation. Obviously, media prediction is 24th. We have that minus points deduction. It's going to be a tough season. That has to be number one priority, to try and stay up the first season by hook or by crook. And then we end with a little snapshot of the league table. So that is the job that is ahead of us. A club administration with minus points on the board already. A job in front of us to try and save this club, install a new approach and get them back to Premier League glory. Can we do it? Mainly, can we just stay up first season? That's going to be the first chance. We'll be back to see how we get on next time round. A slightly different view on the videos for this one. We'll be taking much larger chunks and try and chunk the story into bigger sections to get through the seasons. And if you want to catch up with how we're getting on live, then make sure you go and check us out over on Twitch, where we'll be playing this series through live on Twitch, and then we'll have the recaps and kind of the truncated story over here on YouTube. There will be more videos to come. Make sure you're joining the Discord if you want to get involved in the chat as well, as we have good community growing over there. And I will see you back next time for another installment. Have a great day. Bye-bye.